So now you find yourself as a man who's grown older, maybe in your 40s, 50s, or even your 60s. You've lived through different phases, faced challenges, and gained wisdom from real-life experiences that younger men simply cannot access. Then suddenly, a younger woman comes into your life. She carries a certain energy, a sense of excitement, and a natural curiosity. And somehow, she gives you genuine attention, not just surface-level politeness. That feeling ignites something inside you once again. It feels fresh. It feels alive. It reminds you of a time when the world seemed full of possibility and your heart beat with a different rhythm. And this is exactly the moment where most men begin making quiet mistakes that unravel everything they've built. When an older man becomes attracted to a younger woman, something inside him slowly starts to shift. He begins to forget his own worth. He starts overlooking his experience and the strength he has built over time, as if those decades of growth count for nothing. Instead of standing firm, he begins adjusting himself. He tries to fit into her world. He softens parts of his identity that made him who he is. He becomes less grounded, less certain, less himself. Gradually, he starts behaving like someone else, someone he doesn't even recognize in the mirror. And the moment this shift takes place, the entire dynamic changes. She no longer sees a strong, centered man. She sees someone who is trying too hard, someone who has lost his footing. And slowly, the attraction begins to disappear, replaced by confusion and ultimately disinterest. This is not about judging anyone or suggesting that these relationships cannot work. This is about awareness and discipline. You need to protect your self-respect, your identity, and your inner strength. When attraction shows up, you must remain grounded. A calm man always moves with purpose. He does not chase and he does not lose himself in the process of pursuing someone else. What we're discussing today are mistakes you must avoid if you want to preserve your dignity and your value. These are not just dating tips. These are principles that help preserve your value and ensure that you remain the man she was initially drawn to. First, never try to act like you are her age. You are not the same when it comes to life experience, and pretending otherwise is a disservice to both of you. Many older men make the mistake of copying younger behavior. They change the way they dress. They follow trends that don't suit them. They try to act as if they fully belong in her world, as if they are 25 again. But this only weakens your position. You lose the very thing that makes you unique and valuable in her eyes. A woman can quickly sense when something is forced. It feels unnatural, and that quietly destroys attraction in a way that is difficult to recover from. Your age is not a weakness. It is your greatest advantage. You've gone through pain, growth, and transformation. That creates presence. That creates depth. A younger woman does not need you to pretend to be something you're not. She is naturally drawn to what she has not yet developed in herself. Your calmness, your confidence, your stability, your ability to navigate life's challenges without falling apart. When you stop trying to match her energy and stay grounded in who you truly are, your attractiveness increases naturally and effortlessly. Second, do not turn into her emotional support system. Many men slip into this role without even realizing it, and once they're there, it's almost impossible to escape. She begins sharing her problems, her past, her emotions, and you listen. You want to help. You feel needed. But slowly, you become her emotional outlet, the person she dumps all her anxieties and frustrations on. She comes to you when she feels low. She shares everything, and you start believing this is connection, but it is not attraction. It is dependency. There is a clear line between being present and being used emotionally. A strong man listens, but he does not carry everything. He remains steady. He does not try to fix every problem or solve every crisis. He does not sacrifice his own peace in the process of trying to be her savior. If she brings emotional chaos, you stay calm. That balance is powerful. When you remain centered, she respects you more. But the moment you become her emotional crutch, she stops seeing you as a man and starts seeing you as a therapist or a father figure, and that is not the foundation of romantic attraction. Third, never seek her validation. This is one of the most common mistakes men make, and it is often the most damaging. You begin offering more compliments than are natural. You wait for her messages with anxious anticipation. You adjust your behavior just to keep her interested, even when it means compromising your own values. Gradually, you start depending on her approval for your sense of self-worth, and that destroys your value in her eyes. The moment you rely on validation, you lose control. You stop leading and start pleasing, and that shift is always noticed, even if it is never spoken aloud. A man who knows his worth does not look for approval. He already values himself. When you stay confident and grounded, you do not need validation from her, and that naturally builds attraction because she senses that you are complete without her. If she takes time to reply, you stay focused on your own life. You remain occupied with your own purpose. You do not chase. You do not panic. You stay in control of your emotions and your actions, and that is what keeps your value intact and your presence strong in her mind. Fourth, do not try to impress her. This is where many men lose direction completely. They overthink everything. They try too hard to say the perfect words, to plan the perfect dates, to present themselves as someone extraordinary. But this only creates pressure and makes the interaction feel like a performance rather than a genuine connection. You become someone trying to win her, and that takes away your natural confidence. A strong man does not perform. He leads. He makes decisions calmly. He moves with purpose. He does not feel the need to prove himself because he already knows who he is. True leadership is quiet. It is not loud or aggressive. It is about clarity and confidence that comes from within. You decide where to go without hesitation. You speak with certainty. You remain relaxed even when things don't go perfectly. When you lead, she feels safe and secure in your presence. But when you try to impress, she feels pressure to validate you, and that changes the dynamic in a way that is rarely recoverable. The more calm and natural you are, the more she feels drawn to you because she can sense that you are comfortable in your own skin. Fifth, do not build a future in your mind too early. This is a trap that catches many older men who have been alone or searching for connection. You meet a younger woman who gives you attention, and suddenly you start imagining a life together. You picture holidays, conversations with her family, and a future that may never materialize. You project your hopes and fantasies onto her before she is even committed to anything. This is dangerous because it clouds your judgment. You start making decisions based on what you want to happen rather than what is actually happening. You overlook red flags. You ignore signs of disinterest. You invest emotional energy into something that may not be real. The Stoic approach is stay grounded in the present. Enjoy the connection for what it is right now without attaching to an outcome. Let the relationship unfold naturally. If it is meant to grow, it will. If not, you will have saved yourself from unnecessary pain. A woman can sense when a man is already planning their wedding in his head, and it often feels like pressure rather than romance. Stay present. Stay patient. Let her come to you. Sixth, and perhaps most importantly, never forget who you are. This is the overarching principle that ties everything together. An older man's greatest asset is his self-knowledge. He has lived long enough to understand his strengths and his weaknesses. He knows what he wants and what he will not tolerate. But when a younger woman enters the picture, something strange happens. He starts to doubt himself. He wonders if he is still desirable. He questions his relevance. And in that moment of doubt, he begins to lose the very qualities that made him attractive in the first place. You must remember that you are not lucky to have her attention. She is lucky to have your attention. The attention of a man who has built a life, who has weathered storms, who has wisdom that cannot be found in any book. When you internalize that truth, you stop chasing and start attracting. You stop performing and start being. And that is the most powerful thing you can do. The Stoics understood this deeply. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Standing on the shoulders of the past, you are wise. Stay in the present. You are powerful. Do not let the future take your peace. Your age is not a liability. It is the foundation upon which genuine attraction is built. The moment you start acting like a younger man, you lose the one thing that makes you truly valuable to a younger woman. So, hold your ground. Remain anchored in your truth and never, ever forget the man you have become."